Remember that I told you reading is the most important activity that we all need to continue to do throughout our lives. Even
Yes,
today, I read. Today, every day, I read. Yeah.
yeah.
So, today, let's talk about something very interesting. Okay. Yeah. Plot and conflict. So, can you give me a little understanding of what do you understand by the word plot? What is plot?
Ma'am, a plot is the part of a story.
Part of a story.
Yes, and parts of a story, like
Parts of
setting.
a story. Yes, yes. The different parts of a story, right? So,
Yes.
different parts of a story are termed as plot. What is happening? So, the sequence of events. So, in the story of Little Red Riding Hood, what had happened?
The Little Red Riding Hood got some food from her mother to give it to her grandmother, and meanwhile, at her grandma's house, a woman had eaten her up and pretended like he was the Little Red Riding Hood's grandma. And when he girl said, "Hi, Granny, how are you?" and the woman said, "I'm fine. How are you?" And then Little Red Riding Hood said, "Well, what? Why do you have these big ears?" And then the wolf said, "Just to hear you with." And then the girl said, "Well, why have you got these big eyes for?" And then the wolf said, "Just because to see you with." And then the girl said that why do you got these big teeth? And then the wolf said, "Just to eat you with." And then he got to his will identify, and they started chasing after her.
So hold that story in your mind, okay? Because we will be reading that story after we finish our lesson today, right?
Okay.
Keep that thought in your mind. Keep connecting what is happening in the story with the different vocabulary that I'll be throwing today, yeah, in your mind, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So the first event of the story here was that Little Red Riding Hood left to meet her grandma. She took something in her hand and she went to meet her grandma, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is the first event that you know about the story, right? First thing that happened. But before that, what happens? We whenever an author is trying to come up with a story, yeah, what they do is they create a plot line in their mind, you know. So like suppose we are writing a paragraph, we jot down some points, right?
Yes,
Main
ma'am.
topic and then subtopics, right? So similarly, when an author is creating a story, what does he do? He creates a plot line in his mind, right?
Right,
And
ma'am.
first he designs a beginning, and then he designs a middle, and then he designs an end in his mind, right? So
Right.
let us see how that happens. What does an author really do, right? So who do you see over here? Tell me.
Ma'am, in the beginning, meet Togo.
Meet Togo. So who is Togo?
Ma'am is a subject.
He's a subject or he's a character?
Ma'am is a character.
He's a character, right? He is a character. Now, why are we doing this? Why are we meeting a character in the story?
Ma'am, so that people can understand who the story is about.
Who the story is about, exactly. So, there are all the authors. What do they do in the beginning?
Ma'am,
First,
first
they introduce
introduce the people and the events in the story.
not the event, they tell us about where is the story happening, right?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
for example, this is the story of Togo and the steep hill. Yeah, what does it say? This is the story of Togo and the steep
Steep
hill.
hill.
So, do you think steep hill is telling us about the setting of the story? The word steep hill?
Yes,
Where is
ma'am.
it happening? Right? It's
Yes.
telling us that setting is taking place here. The author is creating the setting in the minds of the reader. Right? He's also introducing the character and he's also introducing the setting. So, this part of the story where the author introduces the setting and the characters, what is this called? So, the part where the author introduces the setting and the characters, That part is known as the exposition. Can you write it in the shared notes? Right. So the part, what does the exposition do? Exposition talks about the
Character and the
setting and the
character.
characters. Right. Now, so what are we getting to know about Togo?
That he was 5 years old. His dream was to ride the bicycle over the steep hill in the park.
Steep Hill is the setting, Togo is the character, and in these sentences we are also getting to know something more about him, that he's 5 years old and he has a dream. What's his dream?
Now of riding his cycle over the steep hill in the park.
Right. So what is he wants to ride this steep hill which is near a park. Right? That's what he wants to do.
Yes, ma'am.
This part is known as
Exposition.
exposition. So the part of the plot in which the reader is given important background information about the character and setting, that is known as exposition. And the inciting incident is introduced. So what is inciting incident now? What is happening here? Are we getting to know something?
Yes, ma'am. We're getting more information about Togo.
More into information about Togo, right? One day Togo sets out on his mission. It is a very steep hill and Togo is terrified. Yeah. So what is this?
It's the middle.
It's the first event in the story. First
Yes,
thing that we're getting to know in the story.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
This is the first event. One day Togo sets out on his mission. It is a very steep hill and Togo is terrified. He's very scared. Now, when we are getting to know that he's very scared, what are we getting to know? That there is some problem in the story. Character is facing a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. He is facing a conflict. He's facing a challenge. A challenge is being thrown to the character in the story. That part is known as conflict. One day, Togo sets out on his mission. It is very steep hill and Togo is terrified. So, which sentence is telling us that there is a conflict?
Ma'am, it is a very steep hill and Togo is terrified.
Yeah, it is a very steep hill. So, this portion, it is a very steep hill and Togo is terrified, is telling us that there is a conflict, right? That there is a conflict in the story. There's a problem that has happened. And this conflict, the author tells us when he introduces the first event that sets the plot in motion. The first thing that we get to know in a story that introduces the problem, the conflict in the story, right? So, what are the three vocabulary words that we have learned today? Number one?
Ma'am, number one, it is plot. Second is exposition. And third is conflict.
And inciting incident, the
Yes,
first
ma'am.
event in the story, that also, right? So one day Togo sets out on his mission. It is a very steep hill and Togo is terrified. Still, this is conflict part. Now, the conflict, what happens? Can you think what was the conflict in the story Little Red Riding Hood that we had discussed before this?
The wolf was pretending to be her grandma, and the wolf came after her.
And the wolf wanted to
Eat her.
eat her, right? And that was the problem in the story. And that Little Red Riding Hood, she spoke to a stranger, right?
Yes.
The problem or struggle between two, people in the story, that is known as conflict. You clear about this?
Yes, ma'am.
And why is so this statement says conflict is the heart of every story. So suppose there was no problem in the story Little Red Riding Hood, right? Little Red Riding Hood just got up and she packed her, food and she left for her grandma and she did not meet anybody and all was hunky-dory, all was sweet and nice. Would we enjoy a story like that?
No, ma'am.
Why? Why will we not enjoy a story like that?
If it would not be, if the problem would not be there, then there would be no sense even of the story. That problem is also required for the story.
So that we can look forward to something, right? So that we can say, okay, what is happening in the story? I want to know what will happen next. That inquisitiveness, that curious, nature that all of us have. If that is not there in the story, then we will not want to read the story. Correct?
Correct.
So conflict is the heart of the story. Now, Togo is facing an internal conflict. There are many types of conflict, but we will not get into all that. We will just talk about the conflict that Togo is facing. What conflict is Togo facing?
Ma'am, internal conflict.
Okay, internal conflict means he's just talking to himself and he's not able to decide things, right? He doesn't know what to do. Now, he's terrified to ride up the hill. Poor Togo. So, he's terrified. Okay, and what is he thinking in his mind?
That I cannot ride up the hill.
Yeah, he's doubting himself, right? He's doubting himself that I can't do it. Should I do it or should I just leave it? Should I give up? That's what he's thinking, right?
Yeah.
He's thinking, should I do it or should I give up on it, right? Should he give up or should he give it a try?
Ma'am, he should give it a try.
He should give it a try. Exactly. Whenever we are going to face challenges in life, we have to continue to do something. Yeah. We don't have to give up. Right. So Togo is also very smart. He's not going to give up. Right. Togo is a good character.
Yes,
What is rising action now? Togo decided that, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to climb the hill. It's even though it's steep and even though there is a challenge, I want to take it up. Right. Now what happens? Read this and tell me what's happening in the story.
Togo's elder brother tells him all about all the people who have gotten hurt too while attempting to do this. This scares him even more.
Right. So what is happening now? Tell me.
Man,
What is happening?
and his elder brother is making Togo even more scared.
Yeah. Now, no, he's not scared. He's not making him scared. He's just warning him. Like when some people care about you, they warn you, right? They tell you that, people have tried it in the past, but they couldn't make it. So, think again. Do you really want to do it? Like that. Do you really want to do it? So now, of course, he was already very scared. And now more tension in his mind. Oh, should I do it? Other people have tried. What if I, try and I give up? Yeah. And what if I fall? I'll be like really hurt and all. So he is really scared. Now this part is known as rising action. The series of events that begins to occur as soon as the conflict is introduced. These incidents add complications to the conflict. So more tension in the story, more problems in the story, right? That part is known as rising action. So can you now explain it in your own words? What is rising action according to you?
Rising actions is the part of the story which makes the main character even more confused and even more scared.
He struggles a lot more. There is more tension in the story for the character and even for the readers who are reading it. But then there is a climax also. Yeah. Tell me, after he reaches here, do you think he will have any problem?
Yes, ma'am, he will have a problem. Because,
Like what?
Oh no, Togo just hit a rock and he is about to fall down the hill. He hears someone coming from behind.
Right? So Togo just hit a rock and is about to fall down. Right? So now this sentence, is it making us feel that things are getting better or things are more worse?
Ma'am, things are more worse. Ma'am, if in GTA we have 3 stars and then if we have 4 stars then it would get worse, and then if we get 5 stars then we get more and more worse with the increase in the stars.
So basically this is having more tension in the story, right? That Togo was scared initially, then he had to climb, and then he felt that others have fallen, and now that he hit a rock and his brother told him that something was wrong, so he's inside is very scared whether I'll be able to do it or not. So this is now climax. Okay, what is climax? That now we think, oh my god, he might just fall because he's been hit by a rock. What are we thinking as readers? That he might
that he might fall like that. For example, in in GTA, if we are riding a bike and a fast car just hit us like that, that would be the climax.
Yes, exactly. So Togo just hit a rock and he's about to fall is making us more tense. And but what are we wishing inside as readers? What are we
That
wishing?
man, we are wishing that please that oh God, please let Togo be successful.
Yes, please let Togo succeed. Exactly. That part is point of highest tension where something is really wrong with the character. And as readers, we really want him to succeed. We get so connected with the characters, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
that point is the turning point. That's the moment of highest tension in the story. The greatest tension in the story is happening over there. Then we have the climax, right? The top of the mountain, right? Because
Yes,
after that nothing can go wrong, right? After that things will only get better. So
yes,
what
yes.
is falling action now?
Ma'am, following and Togo's brother steadies the bike and he does not fall. He has made it up the hill. Now he will picnic with his family.
He will have a picnic with his family. Exactly. So now Togo's brother is, he remember he was about to fall. That's what we heard in the
Yes,
previous
ma'am.
slide.
Yes, ma'am,
And
in the
what
middle.
happened? He was about to fall, but what did Togo's brother do?
When his family who had the bike, he holded it.
Yeah. So he was always protective and he was watching him. Although he did tell him about he gave him a warning, but he was watching him and he came to help Togo. He was a supportive brother, right?
Yes,
Now the tension is decreasing, and wherever the tension is decreasing in the story, what happens?
the thing get better and better.
Things get better, loose ends get tied up, all the conflicts in the story, all the challenges that the characters were facing, they all start getting better,
Yes, ma'am. And
right?
ma'am, for example, in DT, if we have a star and the
Hmm.
it becomes slower to it start playing slowly and more slowly and one more slowly. It means that the more the cops cannot see it, and that would be better. And if we lost the star, and then that would be the good part.
Exactly. So now, what is a resolution? What is the part where we say this is the resolution of the story?
The Togo probably resolution is the end.
Is the end of the story? Usually, what happens in the resolution part? Usually, in the stories, what happens?
Togo proudly tells everyone that he made it up the hill.
Togo proudly tells everyone that he made it up the hill,
Hill.
that he succeeded in whatever he wanted to do,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Everything that happened, the first event, the second event, the third event, the conflict, everything that happened, the end result of all that, right? So remember I told you beginning, middle and end. So now I want to share something with you, okay? I am sharing something, and you have to, after you watch it, you have to tell me what are you learning from this video. Fine?
Okay, ma'am.
I'm sharing a video with you. Have a look at it, and then we'll discuss certain things. Yeah. climax creates a change in the characters. Okay, so remember in our story, Togo's story, when he managed to succeed climbing that hill, did something change in Togo?
Yes, yes, ma'am. He hit the rock and he was about to fall.
No, but within him, within the character, something changed. What changed in him? Did he become stronger?
No, ma'am. His brother hounded him to save
No,
him.
his brother held him. But when you have a target, when you have a challenge, and when you overcome that challenge, how do you feel? Do you feel confident or you don't feel confident?
Ma'am, I feel confident.
So don't you think Togo also felt that?
No,
So did
ma'am.
he change? See, when he started off, he was scared, right?
Yes,
When he
ma'am.
started off, he was scared. But when he succeeded, there was a challenge thrown to him. He had a challenge, but it was his dream to climb up that hill. But when
Yes,
he managed to do it, when he succeeded, and when he told his family that I am proud of what I did, I managed to fulfill my dream, did something change in him, within him?
ma'am. The thing that changed in him that he hit the rock and he was about to fall, and then,
No, but so the feeling inside, I'm talking about the feeling, how he felt. Did he
ma'am,
still feel scared or did he feel, oh, I can do it again?
he felt scared.
After achieving that, he felt scared. He overcame. So
Ma'am,
suppose Saurish wants to do something. Yeah, let's say suppose what is it that you really want to do?
ma'am, get 5 stars wanted
Sorry,
in
what?
GT. Ma'am, get 5 stars wanted in GT5.
Okay, and what is stopping you from doing that?
Ma'am, ma'am, the thing that is stopping me from doing that is the money that I don't have enough money to buy armor. That's why.
But suppose you manage to become very capable, and you can manage to earn and get whatever you want. How will
Yes,
you feel then? Will you feel confident or you'll feel, oh, no, 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 I can't do anything?
ma'am, I feel confident. Like,
Yeah,
yes, I got 5 stars wanted. Now I'll be the most wanted
exactly.
criminal.
Exactly. That's the point. That stories give us hope. Stories help us to, think that, okay, problems come our way, but when we face challenges, when we overcome these challenges, we become stronger, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
all the stories change the characters. Initially, they are weak. They are not very sure about themselves. They have, they are unsure that what will happen. They have these dreams that they want to fulfill, but they're not able to do it. But eventually, in the end, when there is falling action and when there is resolution, things get better. The characters change in the story, right?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, and this had even happened in real life. I got 5 stars wanted 2 times.
Okay, great. So now let me just quickly finish this with you.
Russell, for assisting the elderly and for performing above and beyond the call of duty. I would like to award you the highest honor I can bestow, the Ellie Badge.
Next up, knowledge.
So that's it. Now I'll stop sharing this. Now I want you to quickly tell me what are the things that you have learned about the plot of the story.
Ma'am, the plot of the story was it of the exposition. It was about the background, the characters,
Hmm.
and what the character wanted to do, and
Hmm.
and what and, and the inciting incident. It was a and ma'am, the inciting incident was.
It's over here. See? Exposition, setting and characters, inciting incident, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. Now let's do one thing. Let's come up with a quick story, a very short story that you will create. Fine? You want to create a story?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's create. So let's introduce the setting and the characters first. Start. Think of the setting. Think of
Oh,
a place. Where is it happening? Is it happening in space? It's happening in another planet? Is it happening on Earth? Where is it happening?
ma'am, it is happening in North Yankton.
Where?
Ma'am, North Yankton.
Write it in the shared notes. Start typing. Create your story. Okay, now let's do one thing. Now, this is the setting of your story. Now, think about the characters. Who are the characters in your story?
Ma'am, they were the characters.
Okay, Michael Townley. Again, T needs to be capital because these are proper nouns, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do we do with proper nouns?
Ma'am, the first letter is capital.
First letter is capital, right? So now these are your characters. So you have introduced, as an author, you have introduced the setting, you have introduced the characters. Now, can you create a conflict in your story?
Oh,
Use an incident. Something is happening in your story. What's happening in your story? And that story, that first sentence should also introduce the conflict in the story.
okay, ma'am. Let me write the conflict.
Let's do it. Yes.
Ma'am, done.
So they were going to the chopper and the police made a roadblock. Okay, fine. So this is the conflict. Now you want to create some tension, rising action in your story. What made the situation worse? This is the conflict. Fine, understood. You forgot the full stop. Okay, now
Ma'am, now should I have to write the conflict?
no, now you have to create a tension because the conflict is already given now here. They were going to the chopper and the police made a roadblock. So that was the problem in the story, right?
Okay,
Now,
ma'am, let me write the conflict.
okay, right? Whatever is coming to your mind, any random thought that is coming to your mind related to your story, you can write it. The 5 stars. Back. Okay. All right. Fine.
Then now the climax.
Okay. Now the climax, the point of highest tension in the story.
Okay.
When the readers start feeling that, oh my God, what's going to happen to my character now? And when you're hoping that he succeeds, that something nice happens to the character. When they hit the train. Okay, yeah, that can be the climax. People can get more worried. When they hit the train, the car got damaged and the helicopter disappeared. When out of nowhere a snow cop came and shot Michael, Tony, and Brad. Oh, why is there a shooting in your story? Can't we have something nice?
Ma'am, but there would be a climax. Ma'am, can I tell you that what would be the happy part?
Okay,
That
fine, fine. Fine, fine. Carry on, carry on, carry on. Sorry, I disturbed you. Go with your thoughts. Go with your flow.
ma'am written. Ma'am,
Great.
now can I tell you the happy part?
Yeah, now just write the happy part as well.
Okay, ma'am. The happy part was that.
So see, let's just recall the story. You have introduced the characters, you have put the setting, you have also given the rising action and the conflict. Now you've also given the climax. Now you have to talk about the falling action and resolution, right?
Okay, ma'am, can you tell me again what the falling action was?
So falling action is when things are getting better for the character, when all the loose ends start getting tied up. You know that character was facing a lot of struggle. Now beyond that struggle, there is nothing. Only he's only getting better now. Things are only getting better in the story.
Ma'am, this was the falling action.
Okay. And now, how are things getting better? How would you like to conclude your story? How would you like to end the story? Because this is
Ma'am,
your story.
ma'am written.
Written? Great. Now, later on, after Michael saw the grave, he walked away and Michael lived happily ever after.
No, ma'am. He got a very big mansion with a swimming pool and a tennis court
Woohoo!
in
Great.
Roxford Hills.
Wow, write it.
Ma'am written.
I love your mansion, huh? Tennis court, swimming pool, everything it's got.
Ma'am, he
Great.
was that rich.
Oh, so that's really nice. Your story is fantastic. What we're going to do is this is our first version, right? So you have understood the elements of story. Now you know how to create a story, correct?
Yes,
And now
ma'am.
we will learn in future classes how to add cause and effect, how to use fact and opinions, how to add dialogues between the characters, how to bring out the theme of the story. Everything we will learn in the subsequent classes,
Okay, ma'am.
right? I have also downloaded whatever your story, and if you want I can mail it to you also, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Great. So we learned a lot of the story today.
Yes, ma'am.
You had fun with me.
Yes, ma'am.
I had fun with you.
I
It
also,
was a
ma'am.
great time. And we'll continue to meet like this again and again and again. Right?
Okay, okay, ma'am.
So thank you, Saurish. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah. And enjoy your day, enjoy yourself, and have a happy week ahead. Yeah.
Bye. Okay, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.